Male, female. These two concepts are ingrained in our minds from the moment we are born. Just the other day, we were talking here about how even before children are born, parents begin to form concepts, expectations, ideas, and hopes for their child. In our modern world, parents have the choice of knowing the child's gender before the child is born. So if they're expecting a baby girl, it is very likely they will get pink things for her. If it is a boy, it's also very likely they'll get blue things for him. From the moment they're born, children are bombarded with gender identity related messages. Girls get bunnies, Barbies, castles, fake jewelry, and tea sets. Boys get tractors, cars, guns, and action figures. Girls are taught to be sensitive, caring, accommodating, well-mannered, and attractive. Boys are taught to be tough, to not show emotions, to not cry. Boys are taught to ridicule anything that remotely resembles a feminine trait. Girls are taught to dress well, to look good, to avoid anything that would make them look ugly, unattractive, or too masculine. And it seems that the divide between the genders is getting even more pronounced. All we have to do is to tune into Saturday morning cartoons to see how the media is creating an image for our young ones that is either hyper feminine for girls or super masculine for boys. If you walk through the aisle of any local toy store, you will see what these messages are. You will see what the toys are that are appealing to these boys and girls. And you will get an idea of the messages that we're sending. This kind of polarized socialization is making adults more unhappy and society more divided as we all try to fit within stereotypes that have no foundation in reality. Two documentaries by the Representation Project, The Mask You Live In and Misrepresentation, provide a closer look at how this type of socialization is affecting young boys and girls in the US. We have watched one of them here at the Abbey, and all of us commented about how much we learned and how much we understood about the male psyche and male behavior after watching that documentary. So now let's turn from conceptuality to reality. Because despite living in an advanced society with supercomputers and super colliders, we still think very much like non-Buddhist groups thought in ancient India. We look at our bodies with characteristics that we label male and female, and we think these are solid categories with distinct attributes that dictate our potential, our personality, our likes, dislikes, behaviors, and attitudes. The first verse in chapter 10 of Aryadeva's 400 stanzas, which is on the meditations on the selflessness of the person, debunks this belief. It reads, when the inner self is not male, female, or neuter, it is only out of ignorance that you think your own self male. Non-Buddhist philosophers in ancient India thought there were two selves, one the outer self, which is the body and the sense organs, and one the inner self, which was located, they believe, was located inside the body and was the agent who was the focus of the conception of the eye. Surprisingly, we're still thinking in that way in this day and age. We look at our body, which is only one of 5 aggregates, and we think that because we have this body that we label male or female, somehow the other 4 aggregates have to follow suit. The other 4 aggregates, mind you, are mental aggregates. They're non-material. Therefore, how can they be male or female? This would be the equivalent of thinking that the air we breathe becomes male or female as soon as it goes into the body because it's connected to the body. Yet we live our lives thinking that there is some femaleness and some maleness in our minds by virtue of having the body that we have. So let's pause and think about that for a moment. Is your mind male or female? Or neutral? Or some other type of thing? When we look at the conventional world, we see that both women and men, when not constrained by stereotypes, when raised with more flexibility around their gender identities, are capable of excelling in fields and activities that are not typically associated or assigned to that gender. This is an indication that the attributes and potential assigned to the genders by our society are fictitious. If they were as solid as we make them to be, there would be no women astronauts and no male nurses. In addition, these rigid labels exclude other ways of expressing gender identity and serve to isolate, belittle, judge, ridicule, and ostracize anyone who does not conform. For those of us who believe in rebirth, we are certain that as a result of our karma, we could be reborn in a non-human state. If we are able to be reborn as a non-human, it follows that we're also able to be reborn as a human of the opposite gender. So just because we're male or female in this life, it does not follow that we will be the same in our next life. When we limit ourselves and society with these solid concepts, we deny ourselves and others the opportunity to fully express our potential. Therefore, let's take every opportunity to challenge our own rigid ways of thinking so that we can create a more balanced and equitable society. Thank you.